When we lost our jobs and our house, we did the thing that everybody tells you exactly not to do.
We bought plane tickets to Alaska.
The plane ride was pretty awesome. It left at 8:30 p.m. and we got to take part in a 3-hour and 40-minute sunset.
So we quickly got out of Anchorage and we headed up to this little town called Talkeetna. Super, super cute little town. We ended up staying at a hostel there called the House of Seven Trees.
The next morning, woke up and took off for Denali.
We went on a cool hike the first day, ended up seeing a grizzly bear within an hour of our hike.
We saw a grizzly bear and 2 cubs with that grizzly bear. 3 grizzlies total, just an hour in. Right after that, we saw a few Dall sheep.
At the very end of our hike, we saw a caribou with a massive rack. It was just so crazy. It was huge, enormous.
Then we made it out, and all the way back out of the park, grabbed some pizza and a couple beers, slept in the car, and made it back into the park for the early bus.
The best bus driver.
We saw moose, we saw bear, we saw caribou, we saw it all. And I think it was partially because we were on the first bus of the day into the park.
Yeah, exactly. But the best thing that we saw were 2 of our friends actually work in a lodge up at Denali, and we thought they were in the backcountry camping. We went on a hike 4 hours into the park and ran into them.
We saw them randomly in one of the most remote national parks in the entire US. We were able to catch up, go on a hike together, and even reminisce about some old times and get some great photos.
So after exploring the park for the day, we ended up leaving and heading back and staying back in Talkeetna again. Couldn't get enough of that place.
From there, we went back to Anchorage the next day to hang out with our friends for the weekend. On Saturday, we went and summited the most climbed peak in all of Alaska, Flat Top Mountain, just outside of Anchorage. We went to Seward and we hiked all the way up. Well, actually it was a run up to the Harding Ice Field. We set off a bit late, 6 o'clock at night on a almost 12-mile hike, and we were able to make it before sunset.
I run very fast.
It was actually pretty hard keeping up. And it did help that the sun didn't set until almost midnight. We took flight lessons. We went up and flew the plane all by ourselves. Well, I went first and I was so gung-ho about it, it kind of was contagious.
Yeah, so I decided to schedule myself my own lesson and do it, even though any sort of turbulence in any plane, much less a 2-seater, tiny, miniature toy plane, but ended up being really, really awesome.
From there we went back down and we tooled our way through Hatcher Pass. It was pretty neat. There were some abandoned mines, we were up in the clouds for a couple of runs, and we saw some really remote lakes. But then we made it back into Anchorage and had a good climb with our good friend Eric Ketto. And from there we had to pack up because the 7-day trip was coming to an end.
So in the end, we had planned on video documenting the entire trip, but when we got there, we realized that we really just wanted to explore a state we'd both never been to.